For decades, pharmaceutical researchers chased a theoretical drug class known as a triple reuptake inhibitor. The goal was to build a single molecule that could simultaneously block the reabsorption of all three major monoamine neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, and norepinephrine, keeping them active in the brain longer. They believed this triple action mechanism was the answer to treatment-resistant major depression. But over more than 10 years of testing, dozens of these candidates failed in clinical trials, either due to intolerable side effects or a simple lack of efficacy. The entire drug class was largely written off. In 2025, the FDA finally cleared the first successful drug in this category, not for depression, but for ADHD. The medication, Centanafadine, is marketed under the brand name Symtrio. The true irony of Centanafadine is its origin story. The first successful, highly targeted triple-action psychiatric drug was actually invented in the 1980s, and it was originally intended for a completely different area of medicine. Modern ADHD treatment usually forces a difficult choice. On one side, you have stimulant medications, like amphetamines. They are highly effective, but often come with harsh side effects, like severe insomnia, appetite loss, and a high potential for abuse. On the other side, non-stimulants are much milder, but they typically only target a single chemical pathway, making them less effective for many patients. The solution to this gap actually started in 1981, when chemists synthesized a compound called bicifidine. It was strictly developed and tested as a non-narcotic painkiller. Decades later, researchers modified that original painkiller scaffold. By swapping out a small methyl-toluene group for a larger naphthalene ring, they created Centanafadine. This single swap eliminated its pain-relieving properties, but massively amplified its affinity for neurotransmitter transporters, locking perfectly into the brain's reuptake system. By accidentally tweaking a failed analgesic, chemists had stumbled onto a compound that bridged the gap between harsh stimulants and weak non-stimulants. Even after creating it, researchers didn't entirely know what they had. During early pharmacological testing in 2012, Centanafadine was categorized as a standard dual inhibitor, meaning they thought it only affected dopamine and norepinephrine. Advanced imaging forced a reevaluation. This infographic illustrates the drug's actual targets in the bottom left mechanism of action section. Using PET scans to map active drug binding, researchers discovered an unexpected third target. At therapeutic doses, Centanafadine also occupies the serotonin transporter. That unexpected serotonin activity forced the medical community to reclassify the drug entirely. It officially became a norepinephrine, dopamine, and serotonin reuptake inhibitor, the first true NDSRI to ever reach the market. This chart shows Centanafadine's 12:1 affinity ratio. Norepinephrine is the primary driver, blocking 82% of transporters for core focus. It's backed by 47% dopamine occupancy and 44% for serotonin. This specific pharmacological profile resulted in FDA approval across adults, adolescents, and children. In clinical trials, the drug showed an unusually fast onset time, separating from placebos and demonstrating symptom improvement in just 1 week. The data showed that patients experienced distinct improvements in broader executive functioning and learning problems, alongside the reduction of core ADHD symptoms. By balancing these three neurotransmitters in a 12:1 ratio, the drug manages to yield faster and broader symptom coverage than older, single-target non-stimulants. We do need to look at the raw efficacy data, because Centanafadine doesn't outright beat traditional stimulants. Its effect size is modest, meaning if you only look at symptom reduction, an amphetamine is still statistically more powerful. To understand where this drug actually fits in a doctor's toolkit, we can use this scatter plot. It maps out what researchers call matching adjusted indirect comparisons, a statistical method used to evaluate the trade-offs of different ADHD medications. When you plot traditional stimulants on this matrix, they group together in the top right quadrant. They offer the absolute highest efficacy, but they extract a heavy toll in side effect severity. But when you plot Centanafadine, its real clinical value becomes obvious. It lands in the middle left quadrant, providing efficacy that matches other non-stimulants, but with a vastly superior tolerability profile. Compared to its competitors, the trial data showed significantly lower rates of the side effects that usually force people to quit their medication. Patients experienced less nausea, fewer complaints of dry mouth, and a dramatic drop in severe insomnia and appetite loss. Simtrio stands out precisely because of this tolerability. By keeping the side effects mild, it allows patients to actually stick with their treatment long-term. This infographic highlights another major practical benefit of that tolerability. If you look at the top right panel detailing the drug's safety profile, you'll see a key distinction. Centanafadine is a non-controlled substance. The clinical trials specifically tracked abuse-related adverse events. As shown by the padlock icon at the bottom, they found a remarkably low incidence of abuse potential. This makes it an incredibly viable option for patients where diversion, dependency, or addiction is a concern. It won't replace stimulants for everyone. But for the thousands of patients who previously had to choose between unmanageable side effects and unmanaged ADHD, it provides a highly effective middle ground. After decades of failed trials and hundreds of millions of dollars spent searching for a triple reuptake inhibitor, a shelved painkiller from 1981 eventually delivered the clinical result that had eluded psychiatric researchers for decades.